Hello, hello, and welcome on into another episode of the Whiskey Crusaders. I'm Will.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matt.
Today we're going to be discussing Clan MacGregor and Monkey Shoulder, two blended scotches. One is just a blended scotch, the other is a blended malt. We're going to get into a little bit of that, but first let's talk about the history of Clan MacGregor.
Okay, so both of these products are made by William Grant and Sons, which is Glenfiddich's parent, is the first distillery that they owned in 1886, and the first run came off the stills in 1887. Then they opened up Balvenie 5 years later, and then they also make the famous blend called Grant's, which we'll discuss another time. Comes out of those two. They kept going during Prohibition, but they were shut down during World War I and World War II due to grain needed to go to all of the Army, which was way more important than Scotch, unfortunately. So, good thing there. They opened up in 1963 the Girvan grain distillery, and it's also in Glenfiddich's themselves the very first single outside of the UK. And they opened Canenvy in 1990, and in 2007 Ilse Bay, which is a lowland malt next to Girvan. And then they also bought out in 2010 the Tullamore Dew distillery over in Ireland. All right, so Clan MacGregor itself is a blend of 15 different scotches. It's malt and grain. Mostly they said the malt based thing in it is Canenvy, and the grains were not. I'm sure Girvan's in there, but we're not sure. But also going to be Glenfiddich and Balvenie because that's the ones they own. We don't know the other ones. They don't tell you. But it's a 3-year and the age statement on it. It's 40%. It's actually the name is one of the oldest clans in Scotland. It's actually the one where Rob Roy came from. If you ever seen that movie, of course it's also a real person. But the MacGregor name and the motto for it is "Royal is my race," because the emblem on there actually has a lion with the crown on it. Because the Gregor was the third son of the Alpin king of the Scots in the 8th century. And the emblem also has a belt buckle around it to keep the circle of their family together because of the horrible persecution the MacGregor family went through during the time of, I think it was King James. He actually outlawed the name MacGregor, and if you had that last name, you would be killed, your family would be killed, your children would be killed, everyone was killed. So a lot of them went and changed their names, but eventually the name came back when they took over. So William Grant and Sons in 1964 bought out the Clan MacGregor name, and it does really well in the United States, Russia, the United Arab Emirates, and in Africa, amazingly enough. So it's a pretty interesting Scotch. But yeah, it's highly old in space. I'd make it up. So let's get into the nosing and the tasting.
Moderate intensity, youthful, used oak. There's corn, there's malt. I'm getting cabbage and rubber.
There's a funk on it the second I put it up to my nose.
I call that waxy walnut.
Yeah. It's nutty. It's
You got walnut ridden. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got grass and hay. It's got some smoke
light
on it,
grassy, a little bit vanilla.
Pine.
Yeah, I've got like
Toasted barley.
citrus rinds and pencil eraser.
Not a fan of this right off the nose.
Dry nuts. It's a little alcohol forward, but for me, granted, this stuff costs $15 for a 175. This is a bottom shelf, but actually, for me personally, I happen to like this. This is my go-to bottom shelf Scotch, and I really like it. It mixes well, but actually, I like to drink this straight, especially like at the golf range or something. It's great on the golf range or a restaurant. It's usually one of the housed scotches you'll have at a bar. And so it's good for that if you don't mind, a cheap blended malt. But
the taste to me was a little bit more pleasant than the nose. I moved on. I can't smell it anymore. There's a sour sweetness, a little bit of a saltiness to it. It's low proof, but it's round.
A little ashy smoke to it.
Mm-hmm. Mostly on the finish, kind of comes in kind of an ashiness. But it's a short finish. It's not a lingering one.
I got a waxy burning plastic, so we got that going for us.
Maybe that's what I'm tasting. It doesn't taste pleasant.
Yeah,
to me.
I mean it's blended. I mean, I don't expect a lot. It's blended Scotch. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's still grassy. It is brittle and grainy. It's a little bit of smoke.
I get some toffee in there. I get like a toasty taste in there. It's more ashy than anything to me. It's not a favorite of mine.
What's the ABV on this one? 40?
40.
Yeah.
You know, it's only 3 years old too. I mean, can't expect a lot. And for $15, it's got a little coconut on the finish. I mean, it's not bad. It's still that waxy walnut too on the finish as well. But I mean, I think for the money, I think it's a decent Scotch. I mean, you got to be able to. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is not going to be anything. It's going to be amazing. But hey, like I said, hot outside, sunny day, a lot of a big, red Solo cup. It's perfect for that. Well, it's fine. It's not bad. I like it. I enjoy this.
On a hot day, maybe over some ice, I could.
You know, if I was dying of thirst, I might reach for it. But it's not going to be my go-to personally on a hot day.
This monkey shoulder smells nice.
Okay.
Yeah, let's move on to the monkey shoulder.
All right. So Monkey Shoulder is also made by William Grant & Sons, and this is a blended malt. So the difference between this one and the Clan MacGregor has malt and grain all put together, whereas the Monkey Shoulder is a blended malt, which means that it's only malts single malts go into it. So you've got what they put together is just 3 distilleries: is the Glenfiddich, the Balvenie, and the Canenvie. All 3 of those go together into this blend. And so it's a 43%. It was introduced in 2005 in the UK, and it didn't come to the US till 2012. And by 2014, it became so popular it was a shortage. So now the shortage is gone, thankfully, we're good. But the reason it's called Monkey Shoulder is that actually was an ailment of people that worked in that when they were turning the barley over, every day with basically with a shovel, more or less. And of course now it's done by machines. That they'd have this horrible walk, and they were gimped over because they're shoveling this stuff all day long. And so that was a pretty common ailment of people that worked in the malt house at that point in time. And it's batch 27 is what it's always going to say, because that was, I guess, the number of original 27 casks they put together. And it's still 27 casks today, and it's in first fill ex-bourbon casks.
Oh, this is a much more pleasant nose than
Still
the
youthful,
previous.
still moderate intensity, but this is malt.
This is more complex to me.
Mm-hmm.
I get honey and orange. I get vanilla.
Clove and tobacco for the spice notes.
I get the oak, and I get the fresh fruit on it.
I get butterscotch and almost like a fig.
Mm-hmm.
It's spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Got stewed fruits and vanillas and peaches and apricots, pears. It's really fruity.
Green
It's
apple.
a lot more complex than.
Oh, significantly more complex. But it's also creamy and sugary and buttery. It's got like a pound cake and honeysuckle nose. Yeah, there's way more going on in this.
Oh yes.
I'm still getting a hay.
Kind of a grassy, like a dried
tart,
grassy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, which you get a little bit on the Clan MacGregor, which makes sense though, because since they're from the same distillery, it's just there's more in the Clan MacGregor. So it makes sense you're going to get some of the same notes on it. I assume it's a little bit older. It doesn't have an age statement on it, but I think just based on the smell of it, it probably is a little bit older. I would guess more like 6 or 7 years is my guess. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but just based on the nose.
I get that hay right off the first taste,
Mm-hmm.
and then it slowly slips into the sweetness of the vanilla and the caramel, and I get also the orange on the taste in the background there in the finish.
This is a creamy, round journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's malty and chewy and doughy.
Yeah.
It's like the wafers of a Kit Kat bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without the chocolate. That makes sense. I get the spice. I get the malt. It's. I would reach for this
Oh yeah,
on a hot
I
day.
get that. Mm-hmm.
When
It's
I
also
need to quench
got
for thirst.
some fondant icing, some lemon, and some pound cake on the finish. Yeah, it's a really sweet Scotch. Actually, this is what I use as my base for all my old fashions, because I prefer Monkey Shoulder to a bourbon or a rye in my old fashions. So in the old fashioned, I use the Monkey Shoulder and Grand Gala, Luxardo, the actual liqueur, and then I use the bitters and then simple syrup. So it's sweet, but it's really nice, and that's what my preferred beverage is, Monkey Shoulder and an old fashioned. But
Nice.
I really like that recipe. But yeah, Monkey Shoulder was actually the first blended malt I ever owned, was Monkey Shoulder. We can all thank, as everyone
Mine
knows,
too.
Yeah.
Daniel and
Mhm.
Rex in the Whiskey Vault for Monkey Shoulder. It's all their fault.
stock.
Yeah, for real.
It's
The
all
day
about
that
the monkeys.
episode came out, man, should have bought stock in Monkey Shoulder.
Yeah,
Right.
you're not kidding.
Yeah, I like this.
This is a fantastic whiskey. Especially,
It's
it's $27.
Yeah, it's not very expensive at all.
Can't go wrong. And apparently, I haven't seen one here locally, but there's some pictures online. And it comes in a monkey cage. It's really cool. And this new box,
I've seen
the cage.
the cage.
Nice.
I haven't gotten one yet, but I've seen it.
That's really cool looking. So yeah,
Excellent.
so needless to say, Monkey Shoulder's definitely better.
Oh yes, a lot better.
Until next time, keep on crusading for better whiskey.
Cheers.